Hello and welcome back to Pod Dogs. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. Right? 2024.
Yes,
Correct.
you got the right year.
And on today's episode, Bobby, what are we talking about?
Oh, we got ourselves a little bit of evil dog killers, upset students in colleges, fun new words that we can bestow upon the millennials, some more judging of whether or not one or the other person is not the cornhole. What else we got going on? I miss anything? Oh, Ryan's gonna talk to us about why he's so famous, and we didn't know I had a movie star on my podcast, but apparently I do, and now we're gonna find out his breaking role. You know, we got our own Leo DeCaps here.
Nah.
Yeah, well, before we get into that, let's roll right into Kristi Noem and her dog issue. So if you've been paying attention to any news articles lately, you might have seen that Kristi Noem has killed her dog.
Who is this?
Oh, good question. Kristi Noem.
I don't know her.
So Kristi Noem is governor of South Dakota. She's been governor since January 2019. Before that, she was in the House of Representatives. She is a Republican, so she's known for her conservative views. Anyways, this has little to do about her conservative positions and more to do about her dog, Cricket. 5 days ago, The Guardian put out an article that used some excerpts from her book that's going to be published, her memoir, that's going to be published in a month. So they got an early copy of this book, and I'm going to read for you. Cricket was a wire hair pointer, about 14 months old. The South Dakota governor writes in a new book, adding that the dog, a female, had an aggressive personality and needed to be trained to be used for hunting pheasant. By taking Cricket on a pheasant hunt with older dogs, Noem says she hoped to calm the young dog down and begin to teach her how to behave. Unfortunately, Cricket ruined the hunt, going out of her mind with excitement, chasing all those birds and having the time of her life. Noem describes calling Cricket using an electronic collar to attempt to bring her under control. Nothing worked. Then, on the way home after the hunt, as Noem stopped to talk to a local family, Cricket escaped Noem's truck and attacked the family's chickens, grabbing one chicken at a time, crunching it to death with one bite, then dropping it to attack another. Cricket, the untrainable dog, Noem writes, behaved like a trained assassin. Her words, in quotes, a trained assassin. Through it all, Noem says, Cricket was the picture of pure joy. I hated that dog, Noem writes, adding that Cricket had proved herself untrainable, dangerous to anyone she came in contact with, and less than worthless as a hunting dog. At that moment, Noem says, I realized I had to put her down. Noem got her gun, led Cricket to a gravel pit. Ooh, well, maybe we should just stop there, actually. We'll get to the goat in a second. So yeah, there's actually more than just the dog. So Noem took this dog out hunting. The dog didn't perform well, got loose, killed some chickens of her neighbors. And at that point, she decided, hey, you know what? I think it's a good idea if I just kill this dog because it's not trained well.
Kill the trainer.
It sounds like they didn't spend enough time training the dog.
Oh, 0% chance she trained this dog. No way do I believe
It was 14 months old.
Yeah, it's still a young dog. It could have definitely learned. She just didn't want to put the time in.
Ryan, what is Finn's best trick?
I think one of Finn's best tricks is being able to recognize when Tiff is short of breath, as if a panic attack is going to happen, and then he is able to boop her with his nose.
Boop her?
He'll use his nose and he'll tap her. The trick that Finn also does really well is his sit and stays. No, I'm sorry, wait and stay. And there's a difference. When we use wait with Finn, that means he's staying where he is, so I can walk away, and then I can do recall, and he'll come to me.
Cut to a clip of that, by the way. And then what does stay look like?
And stay means he'll sit, and he doesn't move from there. He doesn't move until I return to him.
Even if you go out of eyesight?
Even if I go out of eyesight. He doesn't leave until I come back, or Tiff comes back, and then we release him. You know, if we give him a little tap on the neck, and then he's released. Those have been phenomenal for us. We use those all the time, which apparently Cricket didn't learn any of those because she just apparently tried to train this dog by just taking it out with other dogs.
Yeah, you know, she's getting mad at this dog for showing interest in birds, which is the reason she bought the dog. It's crazy. It's crazy.
You mean the dog acted like a dog?
The dog was chasing birds, yeah, having the time of its life.
As she described.
Couldn't rehome it, couldn't send it to the pound.
She did
Couldn't find a friend. Yeah, she roamed it to heaven.
There's a part of me that can understand having an animal and a working dog and having to put it down after it gets to a certain age and it can no longer really do the job. And maybe you can't really take care of it as just a pet. Sure, so be it. And putting it in a gravel pit and putting it down sounds terrible, but like that might be the reality of living in rural America.
I mean, sheesh, when they're training police dogs, they need dogs that are supposed to be not, I don't want to say mean, but have that attitude about them that they will attack somebody on command, right? And then if they find dogs that are too friendly, do they just kill those dogs? No, they rehome them. They put them up for adoption, or they don't just murder them. It's just crazy.
And those are going to be great dogs. Hey, it didn't make the cut to be a police dog or to be a seeing eye dog, but you better believe that it's been trained enough to do a lot of other things. It's going to know how to sit. It's going to know how to stay, wait. It's going to be able to do a lot of things.
At the very least, potty trained.
And it's not a biter.
Poor Cricket could have been one of those dogs.
Guarantee you Cricket would have got adopted.
On the happy side of dogs, have you guys, I'm sure you guys have heard of, but Miss Peaches?
Who's Miss Peaches?
Do you know Dave Portnoy?
Not really.
Where do you live, Ryan? Dave Portnoy is the CEO of Barstool, and he recently rescued a pit bull, and the pit bull's name is Miss Peaches, and this dog is adorable. Super cute, super friendly. I'm just into pit bulls now at the moment. And I don't even like Dave Portnoy that much. But as soon as he adopted a dog, things change.
Yeah, here at Pod Dogs, if you haven't realized, we like dogs.
It's true. There's no such thing as a bad dog, just bad owners.
I mean, you could definitely have a bad dog, but most likely it's a bad owner.
They're not born that way, okay? I believe it.
Let's end it off here with Noem.
Shame on Kristi.
Shame on Kristi.
Shame on
Shame.
you. Evil.
I'm sorry. The killing spree is not over.
Is she pro-life, ironically, right?
She is pro-life.
Oh yeah. Just human life.
Her family, she writes, also owned a male goat that was nasty and mean. Furthermore, the goat smelled disgusting, musky, rancid, and loved to chase Noem's children, knocking them down and ruining their clothes. Noem decided to kill the unnamed goat the same way she had just killed Cricket the dog. But though she dragged him to a gravel pit, the goat jumped as she shot and therefore survived the wound. Noem says she went back to her truck, retrieved another shell, and hurried back to the gravel pit and put him down. And at that point, Noem writes, she realized a construction crew had watched her kill both animals. The startled workers swiftly got back to work, she writes, only for a school bus to arrive and drop off Noem's children, which one of them looked around confused and asked, "Hey, where's Cricket?"
In the dirt.
Yikes.
You imagine the mental mindset you have to be in to be like, okay, I'm like, no big deal. I'm going to go to my house, get my gun, bring this puppy outside, and then just blast it in the face. And like, you don't feel, I don't think this woman feels bad at all. She's just like, I have to do it. It's the proper thing to do as a dog owner is to blast this guy in the face.
I agree. I don't think she feels bad or felt bad at all about this. And I really think this is an example of a lack of empathy, which, to be honest, I don't want any politician who has a lack of empathy. I think to be a good politician, empathy is probably one of those things that you should have a really good connection with. You need to be able to empathize about other people and what people are going through. And it doesn't seem like she truly, really had it here.
Yeah, well, she's a manga mommy, so it makes sense.
Can we transition to a happier topic?
Yeah, sure. As evil as she is, I still probably would. All right, next up.
I haven't seen her, so I'll take your word for it.
Not a bad 50-plus-year-old looking lady, I'll tell you that much.
Drop and give me 50.
I wish I didn't hear that.
Emotions aside.
What's next on the agenda?
Well, it's not a happy subject, which is the next one, unfortunately.
God dang.
The college protest going on.
Yeah, so we got bunch of colleges protesting, right? We got USC, which my brother's currently attending, and myself and my other brother also attended, and I think Columbia, Harvard,
UT Austin,
and UT Austin,
Indiana.
I hate when there's stuff like this going on. If you say like, I don't think like what these college kids are doing is like it's helpful, then you'll be like, oh, you must hate Palestinians. Like, no. Or if it's the other way around, if you want to participate in a peaceful protest like this, you instantly hate all Jewish people, which I think is also crazy. I see it on both sides. And I'm just like, why does it have to be so extreme on one way or the other? I guess that's just how it works.
Yeah, so legacy media definitely plays the part of anytime someone's resisting or protesting against Israel, immediately one of the first things they'll go to is, oh, it's anti-Semitic, and make any type of pro-Palestinian cause seem anti-Semitic. It's not anti-Semitic to speak and observe what the Israeli government is doing. You're not talking about the Jewish people here. You're talking about a government, a foreign state, not a whole bunch of people and a demographic.
I was curious as to like, are these college students doing this protest to basically just be like this is the voice of the generation, like I just want to say something to say I was a part of something, or are they actually trying to accomplish something? So I looked into it a little bit, and I read something that was like college students want their colleges or whatever college they go to boycott and divest their money from corporations that benefit from Israel. And then I also read that like over 30 states have laws on the book that prohibit any institution or college or whatever from receiving state funding from boycotting Israeli businesses. So I don't know why it's that way. I also tried to look into that. I can read to you what I found. It's hard for me to grasp what it is.
I think what you're going to end up finding is that a lot of this might come back to AIPAC and how AIPAC has definitely lobbied for a lot of benefits in the Israeli favor.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break down AIPAC for us?
I can't break it down. I really can't. I got to look it up first.
Okay.
All I know is that it's a lobbying group for Israelis.
So while Ryan looks it up, this is what I found. It says, after the Second Intifada, the pro-Palestinian groups started pushing for BDS, which is boycott, divest, and sanction, to put economic pressure on Israel to actually follow through on a two-state solution. Israel reacted by putting international political pressure to enact anti-BDS laws to prevent boycotts from happening. And it's these anti-BDS laws that are linked to certain corporations, and these corporations are what also help, I'm assuming, give funding to some of these colleges and institutions, which is why there's this law prohibiting state funding if you have, I guess, active boycotting of the Israeli businesses. So that's why the college heads themselves want the students to stop, because they're not making money.
Well, the colleges shouldn't be there to make money, should they?
Yeah, well,
That's a different problem.
this is America.
This is America.
Yeah, this is America, right? Freedom of speech. And it's wild how, well, really, apparently you don't have the freedom to boycott certain agendas because it's written, like you just said, Bobby. It's illegal for them to do that.
They get by it by not arresting you, because people get a little confused. The freedom of speech and the freedom to protest is the freedom without persecution. But that doesn't mean someone can't rebuttal with something like, I'm not going to fund you, or I'm not going to stand up for that or whatever. But it sucks when someone takes it to that level where they're like, I'm going to fund you to cripple you, basically to eradicate you. But it's not really affecting their freedom to protest. If you do, you just don't get paid.
I mean, it has affected my youngest brother's at USC. He's a senior now, graduating in 10 days. Because of all these protests that were happening at USC, I know they canceled the keynote speaker graduate, like the big one where all the students get to go to. But the little ones are still happening, but there's going to be no big one. So that's one thing I knew that affected my brother. And another one was a lot of his classes got moved to online classes because students would occupy like buildings, and you couldn't go to class just because there's people in the buildings chanting and like in your way. So
I don't agree with that.
He had to do online schooling.
Yeah, but you realize that's what a protest is, though, right? A protest is meant to disrupt. That's the whole point of a protest, is that you disrupt because there's something going on that you need to talk about and get the message out.
Right. But I don't think it's effective.
It might not be effective, but that is essentially what a protest is and what it does. And
Right.
I don't know if I agree saying that it's not effective. I think a lot of young kids are catching on and learning a lot earlier than maybe we did about politics and geopolitical affairs. I'm not going to completely agree that it's not being effective. I think there's definitely an effect happening.
I think what Matt was trying to get at is that it may be effective, but maybe it's not the best way to explain your point. And I only look at it this way. It's like those people who make a chain of people on the freeway to protest oil pipelines or something like that, where I understand, and I think any rational human being wouldn't want, like, let's just say nature to be destroyed to make a pipeline or something like that or whatever. But you generate more animosity towards the people you disrupt. Like the people who are late to work that day aren't going to be like, after they get through the traffic jam, to be like, oh, you know what, that oil pipeline was really got me thinking. I think they're going to be thinking like, screw those idiots. My boss is going to yell at me now, and I hope that oil pipeline gets built just to spite those morons. Like,
Counter effective.
I could agree. I would be pissed off too if I was on my way to work. Like, great, now I got to wait for this shit. What it is doing is it's causing discussion. Like, look at us now, being able to bring this up on this podcast to the 20 people that are going to listen to it.
But we don't agree with them. Oh, not that we don't agree with them. Like, we look at them in an unfavorable light through the way they demonstrated their protest. You know, where you have people like Martin Luther King, who just like through, I forget the name of the bridge off the top of my head, but he just peacefully walked across the bridge. That's all he did. You know, where these people are like not letting you access like transportation and doing all this kind of thing, defacing public property. It's counter effective.
Yeah, but there's bad actors everywhere. It doesn't matter.
I know. I know.
Of the protests, there's going to be a bad actor everywhere. I mean, you can't.
I know about the bad actors. I'm just saying the act is bad.
Yeah, that act is bad. But let's not let it divert us from what the cause is and what they're looking for here, right?
Sure.
Like the cause and what they're talking about and what they're protesting for, that hasn't changed. I think the organizers have been really clear about what they want. Like Bobby said, they want divestment from corporations that benefit
off Israel. Yeah, benefit of Israel's actions. I
think it's a good cause for them to protest for. And unfortunately, yeah, we're gonna have these people and these assholes that take advantage of these times and are gonna
super
deface
assholes.
shit, and it sucks. But don't let that deter you.
There was a point where I was wondering, before I looked into it, I was like, are these kids just protesting to be like, I was a part of something? You know what I mean? So like when I'm an adult, I could say, oh, I was part of this rally, you know, and like use it almost like a badge. But now, when I found out that the schools actually have some sort of direct tie to funding through Israel or Israel-related businesses and stuff, I guess it does make a little bit more sense. Do I think the schools are going to listen to these students? I don't know. I don't think so, because they don't have to, and they're going to get the money anyway, and they want their money. I think I was even talking to my mom about this because she brought up that point where you're talking about like, these are the voters, right? These are, and this could be a big chunk of voters, let's say. But then I was thinking like a lot of these states that they are protesting in are not swing states. So I don't even know if their votes not going into whatever they want to vote for are going to matter. But hey, that's just me trying to think a little bit ahead.
It would be more powerful if this was happening in the swing states, which I'm not following this closely. I don't know what colleges in those swing states are having active protests going on, because there are more protests going on these college campuses than we've stated. I think I might have said UC Irvine also had these protests going on, and I don't think that's hit the news at all. That hit some like local feed that I've seen, but I'm sure there's a lot more campuses that are seeing some type of protests, pro-Palestinian protests, and also calling for the similar actions that the students at Columbia have been asking for. Now, Matt, you asked me to quickly explain AIPAC. AIPAC is the prominent pro-Israel lobby group in the United States, which stands for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. It's well known for its efforts to foster and strengthen the relationship between the United States and Israel. The organization works primarily through lobbying Congress and other political leaders to support Israel's interests, focusing on issues like the military aid, security cooperation, and countering perceived threats to Israel in the international arena. Just for some stats here, AIPAC has made campaign contributions of more than $18 million in the 2023-2024 campaign cycle.
18 million?
Yeah, more than 18 million. They have a lot of money. They throw around a lot of money. They've backed 64 Republican candidates and 46 Democratic candidates who've advanced to the general election. So these pro-Israel politicians, they live on both sides, Republican and Democrats. They're on both sides of the table here.
They should allow students that aren't happy with their college to enter a transfer portal.
They just transfer colleges.
Just transfer. You don't like what your school's doing, you can transfer just like athletes can. Instead of forcing the school to do something that they're never going to do, they're never going to do it. You just change schools. Athletes can transfer basically for whatever reason they want. Why can't a regular student?
I think you can. You have no obligation. You can just not take classes there anymore. It's not like you sign a contract when you just have to. You're still gonna just have to reapply to a different college. What was I gonna? I think I asked one of our more history inclined friends, the baker, about why the U. I mean, maybe you guys don't know. I don't know either. Like why the U.S. is so closely. Like, why are we so tight with Israel that we're like, even though they do these things, we're like, it's all right. Like, like I don't know what it is. I know they have a lot of military tech. Like, they're like top of the line at testing new military equipment and stuff like that. I don't know beyond that, like what maybe it's political business ties that they have. I'm sure it's tons that they have with America that keep us so beholden to them, to like, no matter what they do, we can't just be like, all right, you're on your own. You know what I mean? Another guess I heard was that, mind you, it's a complete guess, is that they're like our only ally in that part of the world. So like if we unallied with them, we would have no contact with anybody on that side of the world, which
No contact. It would be harder.
Which would just
Our
be
easternmost point of contact would be like Eastern Europe, somewhere.
So we wouldn't have any intel, or it would be harder to get what we wanted. Is that worth what they're doing?
Totally.
That's up to people to decide for themselves, right? But that I think that's another reason I was able to think of. But who knows?
I think the main one is that money and regional reasons. We're at China and Russia's doorstep over there if we need to be. Israel needs us to defend them because the entire Middle East hates them.
Right.
So
that's why I was thinking to myself, like, if they're literally surrounded by other countries that hate them, like that
literally want to blow them off the map.
If they had the opportunity and the technology, they would eradicate them, I'm sure.
Yes.
But they don't. They're surrounded by third world countries, and they have first world tech. So it's like,
but they're also protected by us.
Of course.
There's a reason also they don't do anything.
But it's just like, okay, I get it.
I think it's worth it to people like us. It's worth it, but I need to know more.
It's worth it for us to have them as an ally.
Oh, totally, it is.
Was that the sentiment?
Until they do something really bad.
Yeah, like what they're doing right now.
You don't think we've done very similar things to what they've done?
Are you shitting me? We've done worse.
Worse.
Which is crazy. That like, has the world not learned that we should not do this? Like, what do we think the kids in Gaza are going to grow up and do? You think they're going to grow up to be happy that their family, that their hometown, that their home, like where they were living, the hospitals, the schools that were just bombed indiscriminately, they're going to grow up and just forget about that? No, this is how you grow and foster more hatred. In about 20 years from now, you're going to have a whole slew of these kids that grew up in Gaza and suffer through this that are going to want to do exactly what the neighbors of Israel want to do and bomb them until they're gone and just continue this cycle.
Exactly what Hamas wants.
And in a weird way, that's kind of what Israel wants.
It is what Israel wants.
If they're constantly the victim, then they constantly have to defend themselves, and it's just a cycle.
Pretty crazy. I don't know what the solution is. Let them melt each other and then just
the
ally with the
solution
victor.
Is Big Daddy America using its heavy hand and
Uncle Sam.
I guess, Big Daddy Uncle Sam using its heavy hand and its bags of money to try and have some type of influence. Maybe starting with cutting off aid. Like that's a start. I don't want to give Israel money. Cut them off until they start listening.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying, like, you would think Israel would be like groveling at our on their knees to keep us as an ally, because we fund them and we're obviously their biggest military aid ally. So you'd think if we were like, hey, cool it, they'd be like, no problem, we're gonna cool it because you said so. Because if we lose you guys, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, but politics is more complicated than that, right?
Yep.
It's like calling a bluff.
Israel does have nukes. All nukes should be completely taken off of Earth.
Good luck.
Agreed.
I think there's nobody should have nukes. If we're gonna die, it should just be like, normal massacre killing, not with nukes.
What's normal massacre killing? Comets?
Yeah, dude.
No, like guns.
Guns count?
Yeah, guns are not nukes. Swords, bows and arrows. I like that kind of stuff.
Bombs? Non-nuclear?
Yes, you could do. I think drones are fine. That's just technology. I think nukes is too much overkill.
OP.
Yeah, it causes too much excess damage. That's like, sure, you'll eradicate who you want, but you're also gonna like destroy the earth.
What if I dropped a nuke somewhere that no one died, just to show you that I could?
No, because you're probably bombing the ocean, and 10 million fish are gonna die because of what you did.
Yeah.
No, like New Mexico,
No.
like somewhere nowhere.
No,
No,
because
nowhere.
then you're creating a what is that? A Chernobyl, where it's just like, yeah, you literally can't go there or you'll melt. Like, why would I want more of that on the earth?
Yeah. What part of no don't you understand, Matt?
I want no nukes. I want them to get all sent into the space and just let the aliens deal with it when they find them.
Might as well just say no guns.
No, guns is fine. Guns is fine.
As long as you know it's never going to happen, we can talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's like saying like we're gonna be able to take guns away from people. In
That's what I'm
America.
saying.
It's just not gonna happen. As much as I'd like it to happen, but there's too many crazy reds here, dude. It's never gonna happen. As much as I would love it to happen, and then they like to lie and pretend that like, if you take away all guns, these guys are just gonna like take planes and crash them into schools. Like, you guys are ridiculous. But okay. I hate those statistic pullers where it's like, then you're just gonna have more knife violence. I will take so much more knife violence than I will. I might survive a knife attack. I'm not gonna survive an AR blasting me in a corner.
I agree
True.
with you. All right. Are we ready to get off of some of the dark, sad realities of our world and move on to something cheerful?
Yeah, let's be some positive puppies.
What did you have on that rocket dock? Are we talking about your fame?
Which one of us three has an IMDb?
I only have one in China, so it doesn't count for America.
I don't think OnlyFans goes on IMDb, so not me.
I don't know how it got there.
Oh, it's you.
Someone had to have, typed in this stuff, and I don't know who did it.
It was you.
No.
Are you pulling it up?
You want me to pull this up?
Of course I do.
You pull it up.
I'll pull it out.
So tell me, how did you get famous? How did they find you for this role? And what was the role? Give me titles, if you remember. Boys of Summer? Was that what it was called?
Okay, hold on. I got Finn in the background. It's going wild.
Dogs of Summer.
I found it.
All right, what do you see on
You're
there?
in 2?
Oh,
He was in
God.
2, dude.
Yes.
Or you're a star.
He was actually a star.
The 2 things I was in that's on IMDb, you see the 5 Cent Curve and the Kids Who Saved Summer. The 5 Cent Curve was a student film, and I have no idea what happened to that and those students. Hopefully they did great things. That'd be really cool. And then the other one is the 5 Cent Curve, and that was a movie about a bunch of kids who had to like save a library or something. Let's see. Oh, when a ruthless developer threatens to flatten a neighborhood playground and build a factory, a group of plucky kids set out to destroy his plans. So I auditioned for that to be a bully. Oh, yes.
Okay.
This is 2004. So I'm like 13 years old, and I am going to pull up a clip for you.
Ryan Dorman, boy number 1.
Yeah, I just watched the trailer for The Kids Who Saved Summer, and I couldn't say I could spot you.
Yeah, my scene is actually really short. And I remember doing this before I pulled up the clip. I remember this was in, I want to say Santa Barbara. I could be completely wrong. I mean, at that time I wasn't driving, so I don't pay attention to where I'm going. I'm apparently not very observant as a young child. Anyways, I remember doing the filming and doing the lines and whatnot. And the one thing that stuck in my head from that day and that shoot was the lead child male actor, who's the hero of this movie. I remember him running away, like after the scene, like when he says his lines and he has to go off in a different direction. I remember him running and thinking like, he doesn't really run very athletically. And he's the hero?
No hero of mine.
You know what? When I watched the movie, because I did end up watching it many years later, like I watched it like 3 years ago. The kid did a great job. Good for him. He might not be able to run well, but he did a great job of this movie.
He can act.
He can act. He could definitely act. I can't say the same for myself.
Yeah, for how old he must have been. What is he, like 10 or something? Or maybe he was your age, like 13, 14.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job.
Good job, Adam Gobble.
Ryan, do we have the rights to show this?
I don't know. It's on tubitv.com for free. So
Oh, it's on Tubi. Cat Williams told me Cedric the Entertainer couldn't even get a special on Tubi, and Ryan's got a special on Tubi. That's how you're already one step higher than Cedric the Entertainer.
Ryan, do you get residuals?
no. Oh, yeah. Another thing about this, I don't think I ever got paid. I'm pretty sure I never got paid for this one. They never sent me my goddamn check. You guys still owe me like $350 or whatever it was.
You should see if you
Damn.
qualify for, what's that? The Actors Guild? SAG?
I was in SAG. I haven't done shit for years, so I'm pretty sure I'm not in SAG anymore.
They offered you 300 bones? That's pretty good.
Yeah, never got it. So how good is that?
Well, they were like, this kid's never gonna ask for his money. Let's just see if he asks. And then, when was this made? 2005. 20 years later, still haven't asked.
They're just holding on to my check.
Yeah, the director used it to buy an Xbox.
Oh, dude, I'm looking for that scene.
Did you have a talking line, or were you just like a background character?
No, there's a talking line.
In this one, you're not a bully, right?
No, so in the Kids Who Save Summer, I am a bully.
He was the kid who tried to ruin Summer.
I was just a big jerk, dude.
Give me that bike.
Oh, you like summer? Loser. I'm a winter kid.
What was your name in the movie?
I think I was just boy. I don't think I really had a name.
Oh, very God of War of you. Boy.
Hey, boy.
Matt, were you ever in anything publicized?
Actually, one time I was in a random local commercial for
Okay.
a place that was like a hybrid mini golf and grill thing. It was called Golf and Grill.
Oh, I remember this. Were you in the commercial doing this?
I don't know what the hell I was doing. I never actually saw the commercial. They had me do random things with my sister.
Yeah, I think the commercial ends, they show off the mini golf course, and then it's like a big group of people with the owners in the middle, and everyone's waving like this, like, whoa, come on and come and see us sometime. And it does like that pan out of everyone like smiling and having a good time. I kind of remember this.
Hey, there you go. That's my best work.
Golf and Grill, mini golf plus Mongolian barbecue.
What a combo. No longer exists. I miss Mongolian barbecue though.
I remember when I was 9, I went to Rebay Academy, Officer San Fernando exit, and I got pulled by the principal to do, I don't know, like, oh, this kid's cute. Me and like a handful of other kids got pulled, and we did a save the water, like, ad in like magazines.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and this other girl who I'm still friends with to this day. Anytime I talk to her, that's the only thing I bring up because like I haven't talked to her since then. So I'm just like, hey, remember when we were on that billboard together? But yeah, I was on a billboard. I was in a magazine, and then that's it. My parents still have them. I should have brought them, but I forgot. Next time, I'll bring them.
One time I went to New York and when I was a kid, and we went inside this one store, and they said if you take a picture inside of this photo booth and if you wait like 20 minutes, your face is going to pop up on Times Square.
Okay, yeah,
So one time I did that, and I saw my face up in Times Square, and we have like old photographs of my face up there.
Yo,
Yeah,
that's
photographs
awesome.
of the photo. That's cool.
Yeah.
Should have busted out Big Matt, like,
That would have been good.
looks even bigger on that big screen.
Look at that.
You guys ready?
All right, I'm locked in. So this is you as a bully.
What you doing, baby?
I'm not your baby.
I'm not your baby. Cute. What's your hurry?
Come on, don't be a jerk. Get out of my way.
You calling me a jerk?
I'm not calling you anything. I just want to go.
Who's stopping you?
I've got stuff to do.
More important stuff, right?
Right.
Pass out some of these.
Hey, where'd you get that?
It's none of your business.
What do you think you're doing?
This is none of your business, Tom.
Well, I'm making it my business. Now get out of here and don't bother her again.
Or what?
You really want to find out?
Come on, these are all over town. We'll get them someplace else.
Yeah, no problem. So long, suckers.
Yeah, thanks.
Ryan even had to get the last word in too.
Oh, yeah. Ryan, that has to be your tagline from now on. So long, suckers.
So my coworker actually found out about this years ago. This is at my first job after college. He somehow found out that I had an IMDb. He bought the movie, watched it with his kids, came to work, brought me a copy of the DVD, and told me, "So long, sucker." And I was like, holy shit.
Dude, that guy is a class act. I like that guy.
That's a good joke.
That's a good contact to maintain.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to him and my former boss yesterday. Those guys are great. They're hilarious.
That's too good.
Bro, you should end every one of our podcasts with "So long, suckers."
That's amazing. Good for you. Sorry you didn't get paid.
Sorry you didn't get an Oscar.
My goodness, I'm so surprised that kids can't act. Who would have thought?
I was not good at it.
Do you guys think you could act now?
No.
It would be hard. Maybe.
To what level do you think you could act?
I can act enough for you to know I'm trying to act, but you obviously can tell that I don't know how to act.
Yeah, I'd have to be put in a role where I can just almost be myself, and then I think it would come off as genuine. But if you were like try to make me be like, I don't know, like a drama or something, I don't know if I could pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was a role like, hey, you're a guy in your 30s who's hanging out with his friends and you're just chilling and you have to say like a few lines like, hey, dude, what are you guys doing later? Like, yeah, sure, I could do that probably and make it believable. But if I had to be like a main character of something, I don't know. I think it takes practice.
Absolutely. And a skill set, man. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed doing that. And at that time in my life, I did some acting classes. I enjoyed all of that. That was a lot of fun.
I can tell, dude. It was fantastic performance.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed it. Do I think I can act? No, not at all.
But I'm open to it. Any of you people out there who need a mixed Asian extra, you know who to holler at right here.
Yeah, we have a friend who would do student films essentially and would need help and need bodies and people to do things like that. I would tell him I'd volunteer myself to go ahead if he needed someone and do it, even though I know I'm not great at it. So you know who you are out there. Thank you. I appreciate all the times you actually do use me. I always enjoy doing
Shout
it.
out.
A lot of fun.
Big shout out, same guy.
Sounds like a lot of fun. My brother, my middle brother was in a music video that he didn't even know he was in once.
Oh, that's weird. How?
What kind?
I think it's like a house party kind of like fun song, but he was essentially he was like in an apartment and he was just dancing in the background with his now wife and didn't know that they were being filmed. And then eventually someone was like, hey, here's the clip of you in my music video. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then he's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm in your music video.
Rock on.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Enough of my heyday as a movie celebrity.
This is going to be your biggest role here, this podcast.
Yeah, my new act. Perfect.
Mhm.
Oh, back when you were young and supple before Weinstein got to you.
What the hell, man? Am I not supple enough?
Not supple anymore, dude. You're still young, but not subs. Tiffany will have to get you onto a skin regimen.
No, I'm supple. I'm with the flow. You know, there's some slang language I know. I can say things. That slaps. Come on, man. Give me some words.
You got any good slang for me?
Yeah, so I've seen a recent trend where people have been trying to make up fake Gen Z slang or phrases, and I thought we could do that. So I know Matt's got a couple that he wants to divulge upon us really quick. We can alternate. If you want to hit me with your first one, Matt.
I think I got two. I don't know how creative they are. And they both kind of mean the same thing, but I'm also just reusing words. Or one is a reuse of word and one is a word combo. But reusing the term vape for being quick and efficient and discreet for anything.
Okay.
Right? Or like I vaped through that, or I vaped through traffic, or I vaped through that test. Anything that's just quick, efficient, and silent.
Just a quick little vape.
Yeah.
I almost think of like ghosting. Oh man, she vaped me so hard. I didn't hear back from her after she just vaped me and I didn't.
No,
hear a
you
word.
would be like describing the intercourse you had. Like, oh, how was the sex? Oh, I vaped through it. You know?
It's a little too close to a word I don't like, but okay.
Oh yeah, that's true. Maybe don't do that.
Not a good example.
I vaped through that test, bro.
Speaking of another sexual undertone word, preem.
Preem. Can you use it in a sentence?
How did that test go? I think I preemed it. Finished early.
I think I preemed it.
Is this a made up one or is this a one that's used?
You know, it's just a, what do you call it? Whatever the word is when it's not even abbreviate, but smashing premature ejaculation. Bam.
Preemed it.
Preemed it.
That's doing something. So you're saying you say preem when it's something that you do on accident too early.
Sure. Or finished too early.
Well, so I could say that test was easy. I preemed it. Or I could say,
Yeah.
I started the race too early. I preemed it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to have a negative connotation. It could be positive.
Sure. Preem and vape.
Mm-hmm.
Finishing early and doing something quickly and
Quick, quietly, and
discreetly.
efficiently.
So ninjas are primetime vapors.
Yeah.
Big vapors.
Big vape gods.
Big vapors.
Yeah.
Big vapors.
Mm-hmm.
I got one. The words PEBS. PEBBS. PEBS.
Can we guess?
Sure, go ahead. Guess. What do you think PEBS means?
It's something that comes off of pebbles and is something to do with rocks and something that's hard.
Ryan, you got a guess?
Something that you throw at somebody.
All right. So for PEBs, you would say PEBs when you have a task in front of you or something you have to get done that's really easy to do, or it's like super simple, right? You'd be like, oh, it's not. I don't have a lot of homework, dude. And plus, it's easy. It's PEBs because like mountains, boulders. That's hard to do, right? You want to move a boulder, you want to move a mountain. That's tough. Moving a PEB, that's child's play. That's PEBs. I could do that anytime.
I can vape that.
Yeah, you could vape PEBs, no problem.
Yeah, totally.
It's not an issue.
I can't vape a boulder.
No, you cannot vape a boulder. It's too much.
But if you throw a couple PEBs in my way, I can vape that real quick.
Oh, those PEBs are gone. You could kick PEBs out of the way. You could do PEBs with one finger.
I like it.
Another one I have is Gazoon.
Gazoon.
Spell it.
Gazoon. Or you could go with like the German one, which is like, I don't know how you spell Gazoon type, but
Ooh, now I think you gave it away kind of what it was. I don't know if it has to do with sneezing. I was going to say boobs.
I was thinking like a buffoon.
a Gazoon is, so Matt's going with boobs.
No, I'm going with something with gazoon height, so I think it's like bless you.
Okay, so Matt's going something with like a bless you or like a Ryan, you got anything for me? Oh, you said buffoon?
Yeah, I'll stick with my original interpretation, which is a buffoon.
So Gazoon for me is just another word for vagina.
Ah,
A gazoon.
Yeah,
connect the dots.
because that Gazoon tight.
Oh, snap.
Damn. Okay.
Whoa.
There's a gazoon calling for me later.
Yeah, you got some Gazoon? I got a Gazoon appointment later, so I'm gonna be
Hope I
busy.
don't preem.
yeah,
preem.
don't preem with the Gazoon appointment. And then one more. I got a couple more. Crystal balling or sea balling.
Ooh, that sounds like drugs.
Heavy drug connotation there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna sea ball it.
Take a wild guess.
Close, kind of.
Taking a wild guess is my guess.
Kind of close.
Yeah, do something off the cuff, without practice. You're just c-balling
Like
it.
free balling?
Yeah, for sea balling, I had it as like estimating the due date or when you're gonna finish a task. Just guessing.
If you're trying to see ball my preems.
Yeah, you could be like, 20 seconds. Sea balling it. Yep. I got that one.
I like the other ones.
Snorful.
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 Please don't tell me that means full of snore.
A bad snorer. Someone who has sleep apnea and needs a CPAP machine.
That's actually not a bad idea. It could be, but instead, I was going more towards something like laughing quietly in the most inappropriate time.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking. Perfect. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, I do that.
It's like when you're giving a prepresentation in class and you make eye contact with your friend and you're not trying to laugh, right? But then you can't help it because you guys lock eyes and you know he's you're taking a test, same situation, right?
I feel like the most effective slang words have 2 or less syllables.
You're probably right. I mean, it's gotta be something that is just quick that you could throw into a sentence. Oh, another one I liked was glass.
Glass.
Like, ooh, that dude's glass.
Like easily breakable.
You said easily breakable, and you said smooth.
I said smooth.
So for glass, I had it's someone whose intentions or actions are very obvious,
Oh,
and
very nice.
they're very easy to read.
Positive or negative?
Could be either way. I would probably say it's maybe a little bit more of a negative thing. I don't tell any secrets to Matt, dude. That guy's glass.
See-through.
Yeah.
No poker face.
Sure, that's another one. You leave your emotions right here on your sleeve. I think that's all I have for now. Well, I'll save the rest for when Ryan and Matt have a few more, so that I'm not completely empty when it gets down to that point.
Fair enough. I gotta do some homework here. Come up with some words.
Oh, I got one last one in commemoration for the DEA rescheduling marijuana today.
Okay.
Bonging something. Instead of vaping it, flip it to a bong. Instead of quick, quiet, and efficient, it's strong, rough, but to the point. It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Yeah. Stop pussyfooting around and just tell her, dude. Just bong it, bro.
Just bong rip that.
Just bong.
There you go.
And moving on to good times. Am I the bunghole?
Yeah. Okay. We can do a couple of these before we wrap things up.
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll start with this one. Am I the butthole for backing my son for an internship, but refusing to do the same for my daughter?
Oh, that's the extent of it?
No. There's a story. My son went into business, and I passed on his resume for him to get an internship. He did extremely well, and it was a good reference for him. I only did this because he was a good match for the company. Also, all I did was pass on his resume, and he did all the work with the interviews and everything proceeding after that. My daughter is also in business, and she asked me to pass on her resume to the same company. I told her no, for one main reason: she won't get past the first interview process because she has too many tattoos. The company is very strict on tattoos and doesn't hire people with any in a visible area. They work with many high-end clients, so the employees have a very strict dress code. Her tattoos are very visible and what I would deem aggressive art. I know the moment she shows up, she will be out of the running. And I also don't want to attach my name to the entire situation. I explained my reasoning, and she called me a jerk for not supporting her. I told her she can apply online if she really wants to apply for the company, but I do not want to throw my name in it with her, especially since I know she will be turned away.
Not the asshole.
Ouch.
I'm going with he's an asshole. That's me.
No.
I'm stuck somewhere in the middle right now because I feel for the person not wanting to
Beautiful.
attach.
This is so beautiful. It's what I want. We got one.
Shoot.
I'm definitely he's an asshole, and you're in the middle.
All right, Bobby, explain yourself. Why do you think this person is a bunghole?
I think what is it really going to cost this father to not support his daughter? Attaching his name to her resume, is that really a big deal? Is he going to get a pay cut from his job? Is he going to get fired? Are people going to look at him weird for supporting his daughter? Even if he knows 100% she is not going to get the job because of how she looks, it takes no effort for you to just pass on that resume and be like, this is my daughter. I know it doesn't, you don't even have to say anything. Just to pass on the resume to show that you have support for your kid. And she can deal with the fact that she's not going to get in. If she doesn't get in, she doesn't get in. But you can say that I did put your name out there. I backed you. I said you were a good person, or, you were a good worker, like I did for my son. But because his whole reasoning is, I don't want to attach my name to it, and you're not going to get it anyway, so I'm not going to support you. Go find another job. Like it's like, it's such an easy thing to do, to be like, yeah, sure, honey, I will also pass on your resume. You could even tell her, like, I'm warning you, you may not get it because they have like this thing about tattoos, but of course I'll pass on your resume. Like, what it causes me there's no downside for me.
Yeah, and I think the flip side of that is we here are making assumptions about what others are going to be thinking about you for putting in a candidate like that, right? Like we're putting in words in people's mouths that didn't say anything yet, that I'm going to be looked at differently because I provided a candidate who has tattoos and might not fit the culture. So I see what you're saying, Bobby. Like, why would I make that assumption and those observations when no one has said that yet to me?
Plus, it's your daughter too. It's not a random person who you're like, this is a good worker, they're covered in tattoos. You could even justify it with, like, I know she wasn't gonna get the job, but she's my daughter. Like, what do you like? Of course, I'm gonna do everything I can to at least give her an opportunity.
I'm assuming the person's in corporate world, and corporate
Sure,
world is weird and funny because it's not always about meritocracy, and sometimes it's just about making good face. And something like that, bringing a bad candidate to the table, could be enough to put a bad face on you, and for some executive or higher up to be like, that dude, Bobby, who brought in the girl with the tats, no, he's not going to get the VP position.
The girl with the tats, you'd have to say his daughter with the tats.
His daughter with the tats that he thought could get a job here, he is out of his mind. He has no idea about the culture that we have here. That's not the type of guy I want in VP. No, get the other guy, make him VP. Honestly, that is a very real thing I can see happening in corporate America, which is unfortunate, but that's where I'm feeling like this person, that dad, is in the middle right now. Which maybe, hey dude, maybe you need a different job that's not as toxic, so that way your daughter can apply and it doesn't matter if she has tats.
Dad's got to get a new job because daughter can't get one.
Yeah, maybe. We don't live in a meritocracy because we need people like the dad to be supporting your child sometimes, to just have that in, hey, here's a resume, check them out. Are they qualified enough? Because if they are, yeah, hire them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use nepotism for your son, you have to use it for your daughter. That's all I'm saying. You got to keep it fair.
I disagree. In this case, I think
you got to keep it fair.
I'd like to know if there was a conversation beforehand, before this girl got tattoos, that if the dad said, hey, if you get these tattoos, you're not going to be able to work at my company or whatever. You're not going to be able to get that internship. And she got him anyway. I'd like to kind of know that, because there's got to be some sort of talk. And if you're like front facing a company where you're always visible and tattoos is a strong policy, they're not going to change. This guy is not going to convince them to
I'm not
do
even
it.
talking about the company has to change or anything. It's the effort that you are showing to your daughter that I'm willing to go out of my way for you, even though I know you're not going to get it. Because
And Ryan touched on it. I think it is a little bit about showing face. Like, why would you ask for something when you know corporate policy?
Because it shows you that you care
It shows
about your
who?
family. Everybody in your life, your family's going to see you support your family. The business, even if they don't agree, they're going to say he goes to bat for his kids. Even though
But he clearly already did. He did it for the son.
Yeah,
right, but he's not doing it for the daughter.
Yeah, because he knows that she can't get it. She's disqualified. She has tattoos.
Yep.
He knows already.
But more importantly, is it more important that what he shows face to this company, or is it more important that he shows support for his daughter? And I think I'm siding with
his
Bobby on
daughter's
this.
going to have this animosity between dad and daughter that like
I think the daughter, no offense, she has to be an
brother?
adult. She made the choice to get tattoos, and if this company doesn't want to hire her, even if the dad doesn't exist, right? She has to accept this.
Yeah, but
like,
it's not about the tattoos. It's about the dad supporting the daughter.
Right. And I think doing it falsely doesn't do anything. Blindly and falsely. Like, I think that there's more of a lesson to learn for her if you just tell her, like, hey, this is what happens when you get tattoos. I can't do anything about it. I am out of control. Even if I did go to bat for you, nothing's going to happen. You have to understand.
He's not
that
even
reality.
going to bat for her. It's submitting her resume like he did for his son. That's not like he's the best player son ever. It's submitting the resume. He even said the son did everything after besides him submitting the resume. He didn't go to his boss and tell him about how good the son was or all the accolades he did. He just gave the resume. He won't even give the resume of his daughter.
Then at the same time, if that's all he did, then this is so minuscule. She can submit it herself.
Which is what he said to do. But but the fact that her dad won't even go out of his way to submit papers for her is going to create this family dynamic that I don't think you want. You could easily avoid it because I don't think there's any negative repercussion to you submitting the resume. Like I told you, could just say you're probably not.
There's also no negative repercussion to lying that you did it. She could say, yeah, I did it.
What do you mean lying that you did it?
Like lying that he said that he submitted and she never did.
Oh, then he's a real asshole if he does that.
Yeah, he's a super asshole. But that's not what we're talking about here. That's just a made up thing. But we're not talking about that.
I don't know. I think it's just being honest and being like, hey, this is just kind of what the reality is. Like, you're not going to be able to get this no matter my poll. I do support you. You made the choice to get tattoos. It disqualified you from it. Me submitting this to HR, to Judy, putting this on her table, and Judy's going to look at me like, why are you wasting my time? I have real work to do.
No,
when you know you're...
Judy won't make that assessment until the daughter is there. If Judy even makes that assessment.
When she shows up, right, and she sees her, she'll be like, why did I go through this? Yo, Jim, why did you bring your daughter? And she has a full sleeve. You know we don't allow full sleeves on the sales floor or whatever I don't know what this job is, right? Like, you're wasting time. That's more of a dick move, I think. You can just be honest with your daughter. You're not qualified. It's okay. It's an internship.
I think this kind of shares with helicopter parent syndrome a bit, where I need to protect my child from danger and failure instead of letting the daughter go ahead and he support her. Like, all right, like I put your resume in and we'll see what happens. You might fall on your face and fail. That's fine. So be it. I know this person also explained that they didn't want their name attached, which I agree with Bobby. You should get over that fucking fact and support your daughter. If you believe in her and that she can do this job, regardless of her tattoos, you think that she's a capable person, fucking stand up for her, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stand up.
He doesn't even have to stand up for it. He just has to submit the damn papers to show your daughter you're at least being as fair as you were to her as you are your son. You might even be damaging the brother-sister bond they have because you're like, why does dad like do things for him and not for me?
I think it's such a minuscule event that it wouldn't have that kind of impact. But if it did, then they got other issues.
They might. This might be a really small snippet of what he's done for the whole entire life of those children.
Right. He could totally have favored one of them the whole time.
But yeah, I'm with you, Bobby. Should have just gave a resume in and said, hey, this is my daughter. Boom. There you go. You call her if you think she's capable.
Yeah, I mean, he could.
I mean, shoot, if you want to go like in the middle ground with what Matt said in lying, you could submit the resume, tell whoever, because I'm sure he knows whoever does the interviews, like, listen, I know she's not going to get it, but just let her come in and give the interview, and then you could tell her she wasn't a right fit. But at least I save face with my family, and I can say, baby, I supported you. I submitted the resume. I talked to the interviewers, and you just weren't the right fit. Let's go find you another company, right? That's all it is. And then you don't have that dad didn't support me when I was looking for my first job ever going to exist in your life.
She gets to interview. She gets to face the failure, get that experience of doing something and not receiving the reward. To me, I'm about it.
That just seems like setting up for failure.
It's okay. Got to learn how to take failure in stride.
Yeah, seriously. Freaking jerks. Who doesn't support their kids? Unless this kid was an asshole.
She's probably the same one that begged her dad if she can get tattoos too.
Dad, can I get it, please? Please, Dad. Mom says if you said it's okay, I can. Dad, can I get this job at your company? Oh, they can't because of the tattoos.
The irony.
Sure. If that was exactly what happened, then yes.
Well, I don't think she got tattoos without a conversation, and I don't think a conversation didn't happen between them about the consequences of her getting tattoos.
I'm sure she knows that having tattoos...
So I think it's totally fair that she has to deal with the consequences of not being able to get this job and someone telling her.
And no one's not saying that's not fair, but the whole
But she's not accepting it. She's not accepting the consequences.
No, she's not accepting that her dad won't even do the smallest thing to be on her side.
But that's a consequence. He knows the result. The result is finite, right? He's saving her time and effort and all this. He warned her before, we're assuming, he warned her before that this is the consequence of what happens.
No, I don't buy that at all.
And then you still want me to just do something like do some act of kindness just to show that I care?
Matt does not do acts of kindness for his future kids. Don't expect anything out of Matt, dude. If you make a mistake, it's like, sorry, dude, I told you one time that you're gonna have consequences, and then you're never gonna be forgiven. It's black or white, dude. It's just so insane to me. So insane.
It is that extreme.
It is definitely not that extreme.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not that extreme.
Yeah, so he should just submit the resume and then let her get rejected like every other normal person who submits a resume and gets rejected. And then now he can say, I supported you, babe.
Yeah, I still don't think it makes him an asshole for not doing it.
If he didn't do it for his son, then yeah, I would agree with you.
I don't know.
Why can't she just wear long sleeves?
Because they have a dress code where they don't.
Find me one place that's a corporate place where it says you cannot wear long sleeves.
Now, that was an assumption I made,
Hooters?
that this is a corporate job. That was a big assumption I made. It might possibly not be. It could be a small little thing. Who knows?
Yeah, there's plenty of places that say you have to have a certain attire.
Sure. Find me one that says that if you can't wear sleeves.
But okay, we're also assuming it's sleeves. She could have a neck tattoo. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
It could be something else.
Sure.
That would just disqualify you. And it's just like a weird thing to like support. Like if you know that you're not going to get it because you have a neck tattoo.
It's a weird thing to support your daughter.
It's not, it's a weird thing to lie.
Why are you lying? He could
know
tell her
she's not going to get it.
Probably not going to get the job, but I'm going to do this out of support for you.
Right. And I think that's lying.
How was that lying?
Because
I'm telling
know
you're probably not going to get the job.
You're putting someone through something where you know the result and you're trying to tell them that what they did is a result of their consequence, and me doing something is not even showing support.
Lying would be, I'm going to submit this and you're definitely going to get the job.
That's babying. I feel like it's babying.
No, that's lying.
I think that's babying. It's not like I didn't submit a job application where you're making 100K. This is like an internship, right? Where he's like, yo, if you don't get it, it's okay. You know you're not going to get it because you have the tattoos. Why are we wasting everyone's time by babying you into like, oh, I'll do it for you. Oh, but you did it for my brother. Well, your brother's different. Your brother decided not to get tattoos. Your brother did this. Like, you're not the same, right?
Matt has favorite sibling syndrome.
Yeah, it's me.
So he'd be like, as long as I'm getting the good and Sean is not, we're fine.
Yeah.
It's at least it's on video that we know it now, so we're good.
It's totally fair. You can treat siblings differently. You're allowed to do that, parents. You're not.
You can treat them
differently. You don't have to treat them all the same.
But you should treat them fairly.
Yeah, and that's fair
to you.
Yes, it is fair to me.
I will let all my future children know, regardless of what you look like and what your creed is, as long as you're a good person with good work ethic and a good schooling, I will always submit your resumes and I will always go to bat for you, no matter what the position is.
even if I know that you would most likely not get the position. I would 1000% always back you up.
Yeah, I am not going to be the person that tells you no. I'll let someone else make that decision. Like the parent here was the limiting factor. That was it. The bar stopped right there.
There's already going to be too many obstacles in everyone's life that are going to prevent you from doing big things. And I don't want to be one of those obstacles.
100%. I absolutely do not want to be the obstacle.
And I think you're creating bigger obstacles by creating a person who can't overcome their own, right? If you're going to do something for someone all the time, then they can't do it for themselves and accept it for themselves.
But it's not doing something for someone all
It's
the
like,
time.
why do I get daddy to do everything for me? Why do I
Because
got to
he
get
works
daddy
for the
to get
company.
my job? Oh, I didn't get it. I'm going to take my daddy to do it. Why shouldn't I just be qualified without my dad?
Then you could say the same for the son. He shouldn't have submitted the resume for the son then. So if you're going to use,
He could be the
if you're going to
asshole
use
for doing it,
nepotism
and
for
he could also
one,
be the asshole
you
for
should
not
use,
doing it.
You should use nepotism for the other.
Okay, but then he's an asshole. Then for maybe someone else was more qualified.
Sure, that happens all the time.
Okay,
That's why
so
I'm calling this guy an asshole, and you're saying he's not.
Yeah,
But
I don't think he
remember,
is.
in this case, this scenario, it sounded like the son was qualified and had the right skill sets. So it wasn't nepotism in the sense that this person got in without any merit. No, this person had an opportunity to be seen and to expose their merit, whereas the daughter didn't have a chance to even show her merit. There was no opportunity for her to even try to convince of her merit. It was not
Right,
seen
but
at
there's-
all.
But you're leaving the door open that there's an opportunity to convince someone of merit when they don't have any disqualifications. She has disqualifications. Your merit doesn't matter.
on
No, what
his
if she had
disqualifications.
such a great interview? They took her.
Yeah, it's his
They
assumption.
don't.
How
And
do you,
he
how
knows
can you
that.
just say they don't?
No, no,
You
no,
don't
no.
Because
know.
he works there. He's been telling you that they've
You
never
don't
done that, and they've repeatedly. They're not going to make an exception for his daughter for this story.
He's not the hiring manager. Let the hiring manager say no then.
Okay,
Yeah, you say okay.
it's still a waste of time, dude. You know,
It's not a waste of time to
It's
build
baby.
a rapport with your daughter, dude.
you build it
Especially
other
when
ways.
you're
You're
an
honest
adult.
with her.
Of
see,
course,
be like,
he
you're
is
like,
being
hey, you
honest
got
with
this
her
tattoo.
by
You got
telling
this
her
next
that she's
tattoo. You
probably not
cannot
gonna
work
get the
here.
job. But he's also being supportive of her, being like, I know even though you're probably not gonna get it, I'm still gonna put my neck out there for you. And like I said, what negative things is gonna happen to this guy? He's not gonna get fired.
Could be looked upon negatively. Could be.
Could be, but we don't know.
Maybe.
Right.
Or he could be looked at positively for supporting his family, right?
Right. This whole thing's hypothetical.
But so that if it goes both ways, you might as well just be supportive, right? As opposed to not supportive.
I don't think that not pushing the resume is not supportive. I don't think that.
I would take the risk. Fuck it. I'm pushing the resume.
Hell yeah, pushing the resume, dude. It's such, like you said, it's such a minuscule,
Okay.
big
Also,
deal
let's point out,
task that you
it's
can
not
just
that
do
I
it.
wouldn't do it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it. I don't think this guy's an asshole for not doing it. You know, there's a big difference between me. Yeah, sure, my daughter, my job doesn't matter, whatever. But if this guy doesn't do it for his daughter, he's not an asshole.
Nah, big a-hole.
I think he's a big asshole, dude.
I don't.
Especially after you did it for your son,
Mm,
which is crazy.
mm-mm.
So you do it. You would do it, but
I would do it, but I
Yeah,
don't think
you
he's an
would. So
asshole.
you would go out because it's a nice thing to do.
Because it's a nice thing to do. No, because I don't want anyone at home complaining to me that I didn't do it. I wouldn't want my daughter complaining. That would stop her from complaining.
But would you
Just do it.
would you say it's a good nice thing to do for the relationship of you and your daughter? If she
No.
would say but Dad submitted my resume, that was bad.
Wait, what?
Dad submitted my resume and put his neck out for me. That was bad.
It's not bad either.
You just said no, it wouldn't be a good thing.
I was joking. I mean, I was saying that you can make it either way. You can say, I don't think it is, but you can say him doing it is nepotism. That's an asshole. Or him doing it is for his son. That's a good thing. It could be either, right? But I wouldn't. I don't care. And nor do I care if someone else does it. That's why I don't think anyone's the asshole here. For
I mean,
doing
if
it
you're
or not
if you're
doing it.
going with nepotism immediately makes you an asshole.
I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
I think it does in a way because you're taking away opportunities from people who are more qualified, right?
So he is an asshole because he did it for his son.
Beautiful. Thanks. I'm glad you agree.
To you, no, I'm saying you think he's an asshole.
That's exactly what I said. That's been my stand the whole time.
That he did it for his son. Not that
Yes.
he didn't do it for his daughter. That's a different
Both.
point.
He's double asshole. He's one for using nepotism and two for using it
For not using nepotism.
and then saying like
That's what I
okay,
said earlier.
I'm gonna go with selective nepotism and only use it for one of my kids.
Selective nepotism, you do it for one and not the other. Of course it's selective.
Okay, what is your point for that?
But it's an asshole either way. It's nepotism and it's not nepotism, and he's an asshole either way.
Fact.
To
So
you.
he's an asshole.
Right, to you.
He's an asshole either way. Yeah.
Right, and to me, it's not. It's that he's not an asshole either way. To you, he's an asshole both ways. To me, he's an asshole neither way.
And to me, he's an asshole only because he didn't do it for the daughter.
So you're halfway. Since he didn't do it for the daughter, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy for doing it for the son. I think he's not an asshole for doing it for either. And Bobby thinks he's an asshole for doing it for both.
Yeah, this guy's a big jerk off. If you set a precedent, you have to follow through.
Yeah, I don't think so, but okay.
That's crazy, especially when it's your kids. If this was just friends, different story.
I don't teach that. My sister and I grew up with different privileges, and we accepted it like that. We were like, one earned something and one didn't.
Yeah, and that's okay.
You know, like if I got something, you know, maybe as kids, yeah, like, oh, you got something, you get something too. But like, you know, if Shauna was qualified for something and my mom would tell me like, yo, you didn't do that, she did, or vice versa.
Yeah, but it'd have to be like you were both in the same major and you were both doing something that's exactly the same. Not like she's doing hair and you're doing football and you want to be a hairstylist and she's going to say, you're not qualified for that. Obviously
Even if
not.
we want to use this case, like my mom told me for years not to get tattoos. And for the reason of this whole thing is like, you're going to not have job opportunities and blah, blah, blah. My mom would tell me now, like, yo, I told you. I think that's what I would hear from her. Like, I told you so. I warned you. I looked out for you. I did my part. You have to be an adult, and now this is the consequence, and I have to just accept. That's how I'd be.
But if you and Shauna were applying for somewhere and she sent in Shauna's and not yours, I'd be like, your mom's kind of being an a-hole.
Yeah, and if she told me, it's like, yo, I told you I can't give you this job because you got tattoos.
Not
and
giving a
my
job.
neck is on.
Not giving.
My
a
name
job.
is on the line.
Not giving a
Then
job.
I'd be like, okay, you know, like I made the choice to get to tattoos as an adult, and I have to take this pill. I don't think you're a jerk for not doing this for me because I made the conscious choice to get ink on my skin. I'm not going to blame someone else. I'm not going to blame someone else for my miscomings.
Yeah, we're not blaming
Even if it's
for
my
getting
own mother.
tattoos. We're blaming for not doing a simple task. She's not giving you the job.
Yeah, but she's blaming him. She's pissed at her dad.
Yeah, of course, because he wouldn't show the same respect that she would for her brother.
Right. And I think that's babying.
Okay, well, difference in opinions.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I know. Agree to disagree.
That was a good one.
It was a good one.
Majority people say he is an asshole. 88% say he's the asshole.
Yeah, I would guess I'm a minority. That seems high, though. I would assume that people would think he's the asshole, but I still think it's high.
Was there a poll? How did you get 88%?
AITH, they auto tracks.
You can vote for not the asshole, he's the asshole, or everyone sucks.
I'd be like, dude, Bobby over here just pulling numbers out of nowhere.
He counted every comment.
Yeah.
Everyone sucks.
Let me see your spreadsheet.
A BBQ?
I want a juicy quality one.
A juicy quality one. Okay, maybe this will be juicy enough for you. Would you rather be able to tell your past self one thing or ask your future self one question?
When you say tell my past self one thing, does that mean I have a phrase, a sentence, I have like a minute to say something? How much of can I tell this past person? Like how much can I tell?
Yeah, you can tell them, I'll give you a minute worth of time.
I feel like these always boil down to me telling myself like winning lottery numbers or telling myself Bitcoin is going to be big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Sure.
100% the first thought is, all right,
The first thought is making money.
you just make a bunch of money.
Tell
Yeah.
how to tell young Ryan invest in Bitcoin.
I would first win the lottery and then invest that money in Bitcoin. You're like, hey, this is the winning numbers on this day. You should invest on this site at this time, at this price, or whatever. Do this. And then I'd be hopefully like a gazillionaire and preem everywhere.
I don't need $1 gazillion. I just want a home.
You can buy a nice one with a gazillion.
You can. I'm just saying, like,
You can buy a lot of people homes with a gazillion, actually.
I mean, I'll sell my left hand for $10 million. I don't need a lot.
Yeah, but think of what you can do for everyone else, Ryan.
It's true.
You have this opportunity to have a gazillion. Tell yourself anything you've ever wanted. How about reframing the question with not involving money?
I know exactly what I'd say, and it would deal with my knee, but that changes a lot of my life. Giving fair warning about when my knee would give out and why. And I think all I have to do is tell my younger self, hey, last game you play of football, not last game of your high school career, on the punt return in the last minute, pay attention even until after the whistle. Don't let that kid come near you. Stay away from that one kid. Stay away from who you're blocking.
How young of a version of yourself are you going to?
That'd be 18-year-old Ryan.
So you would only go back to 18. You wouldn't go back to like younger.
No, if it wasn't, yeah, if it's not money related, I mean, even money related, 18-year-old Ryan's not a bad call. But for the non-money related, 18-year-old Ryan is when I tore my ACL. And I would have appreciated to not have torn my ACL at that time. That would have been really nice.
What if it's one sentence? You can ask one question or tell one sentence.
Do I get an answer for my question?
From if you ask future self, yeah, you get an answer. Okay. It's not like future Matt, Ryan, and Bob are going to be like super geniuses, right? You're just going to be as smart as you are in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. So you could go back to 10-year-old Ryan, 10-year-old Matt, and be like, invest in Bitcoin in year 2000. Put all your money in Bitcoin. Now, will 10-year-old Ryan, 10-year-old Matt, and 10-year-old Bob listen to random creepy future version of you? And
that's a good point.
And be
Is
like,
that a stipulation?
I am gonna put.
Do I get listened to? Do I listen to myself?
I don't know. Do you think a 10-year-old version of you would listen to a random person saying I'm future version of me?
Well, I was not going under the assumption that I was random. I was going to do the assumption that I knew I was talking to myself.
I mean, you might look exactly the same and you would buy it.
So I'm just going under the assumption I know the other person I'm talking to is me from the future without a doubt. There's no doubt.
Sure. We can assume that. I think I don't know if a 10-year-old version of myself, that's why I think maybe like Ryan said, like an 18-year-old version, I'd be a little bit more privy to believing. But like a 10-year-old version of me might not even remember what happens 20 years from that guy's life. If I told him to invest in Bitcoin, I might forget it in a year. You know what I mean? Just because I'm 10 years old.
Yeah, you need to remember that for another 9 years because Bitcoin didn't hit the scene until 2009. And we were 10 in what, like 2000?
I would tell 19-year-old me that.
10 is 5th grade, 4th grade?
No, I'm talking 18-year-old Ryan for sure. 18, 17-year-old Ryan. I'm going about the knee. But then in one sentence to warn him about it, that's going to be tough.
Do you remember the game?
Yeah.
Someone's going to damage your knee in that game. Keep an eye out.
Fuck it. Just sit out the game. Who cares?
Sit the whole game out. Get sick that day.
Yep. Don't even worry about it. Keep your ACL for the rest of your life. It's not.
I was going to say, would you say don't play football?
Playing football led to a lot of good friendships.
Yeah, it would drastically change your current life.
It would.
I would tell myself, I think in this same theme, play soccer.
And I would have loved to focus there.
Yeah, I would have rather have played soccer than play football.
I mean, you could still do the winning lotto numbers in the year 2010 is going to be this. That could be your sentence. You know what I mean?
I feel like doing the money thing just feels too simple. Like I'm always going to say if I had the opportunity to change a timeline, I'd have a rich timeline.
Yeah, I think that's the smartest thing to do for most of us.
Right. But that's too easy. But if I were to like do something where it was like change the course of my life, non-money related, I would have wanted to have been a soccer player in high school. I think looking back, I didn't at the time. I know I didn't at the time, but looking back, I think I would have excelled at soccer more than I thought I did at football.
Your friends group would have been different too. I mean, we still would have met. I played soccer, so we would have still been friends most likely. But to think who you would have been hanging out with a lot more closely throughout those years might have been
definitely different. Also, being filthy rich at a young age would make your life different.
That is very true. I mean, me thinking about my ACL, if I were to have warned younger Ryan about the ACL and the ACL did not tear, my life, I think, would have also been vastly different. Because from that moment, when I did tear the ACL and I went back to school in December and whatnot, I sat there in class thinking, well, cool, now what do I do? You know, sports was something I played throughout my whole entire life.
Did you think or want to play sports after high school?
Yeah, at least at the CC, I wanted to at least try.
Okay.
And whatnot and play there. But, you know, that kind of just went out the window. And at that point, I decided, well, if my body is going to break down on me, I might as well focus on the schoolwork here and continue doing well in school.
How responsible of you.
Well, I had nothing else to do. Like what? I had a bum knee. I might as well pay attention to class. And that's where I guess the idea of being an engineer really came into play and focusing on that math class and really trying to excel at math and the sciences. And that lasted throughout, my college career. So
even till now. But there was a point even after high school where I wanted to join the Air National Guard, the California Air National Guard.
I was about to ask you the story.
And I didn't they didn't allow me in because I wasn't complete with rehab on my knee yet. And I think, well, if my ACL was never torn, I think the opportunity and that thought of me joining the Air National Guard still would have came up, and I would have done it. And my life would have been drastically different. I wouldn't be an engineer. I would be a pilot most likely at this point in my life.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Are we talking about the reserves? Like, is that who we're talking about? Okay.
It's not the reserves, but it's similar to the reserves.
Okay. Okay.
So reserves, guard, active duty, as term of how often you are in uniform.
So you're considered military.
You are military.
Okay.
Yeah, I would have been full-time with the California Air Guard for, I think, 3 years, and then you do part-time for the next, 2 years. Like, that was the setup that, if I recall correctly, that I was trying to get into.
Did you want to do that
100%.
With the goal being I want to do piloting stuff?
Yeah. That was the goal. That was the whole point of me joining. It was to join to be a load master.
Oh, trust me, you're a load master, let me tell you.
Yeah, hey, preemie over there, or
hey, preemie.
Relax over there. Don't preem, okay? You load master.
Bro, I don't preem my vape.
Jeez. So what I was told and what I learned was that being a load master was one way to advance yourself to eventually become a pilot within the Guard. And so that was the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it, being a load master for a few years and then get a bachelor's to become an officer and eventually hopefully go to, or I don't know if you say go to flight school, but to eventually become a pilot.
You weren't a pilot or had your pilot's license at that point in time?
I think at that point in time, I might have been working on it or I did complete it already.
Okay.
I can't recall.
So you still had the opportunity once you graduated from college. How come you didn't take it at that point if by then your knee should have been fully rehabbed?
I told myself, okay, if I get rejected, I'm going to school and I'm just going to finish school. I'm not going to stop school halfway through to join the military or do any type of military service. And that's what happened. I did my years of schooling, finished it off, got my degree. If I wanted to be a pilot, you're right, I still could have, but I let it go when I got rejected by the Guard and I decided to pursue engineering after that.
He committed.
The military would have loved you, bro.
Maybe.
A pilot engineer combo.
Who knows if I would have done engineering though, if I would have gone into the Guard. I might have decided to do some other type of degree instead.
You could just be a straight pilot.
Yeah, I might have just done some type of administrative business degree instead, just so I can have the bachelor's, so that way I could become an officer and be a pilot and have that bachelor's when I apply after the military career to these big airlines, because they also look for people who have a bachelor's. That's what they want to hire.
Wait, you applied for this out of high school?
For the Guard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this was an alternate to going to college.
Yes.
So this is like a program where they'll, like you said, you can in the program still get a bachelor's degree.
I would have had to do it after the 3 years of full service. Once I became part-time, then I would have been able to pick up school and start there. But that was the thing. I didn't want to start school since they rejected me at that time. I didn't want to start school, be in the middle of taking all these different type of math classes, science classes, and then as soon as my knee was healed and ready and they would accept me, stop taking classes to join the military, only to come back years later and have to pick up where I left off. I did not want to do that. I just wanted to finish it off all the way through.
You could have done it where you could have been taking classes during, because they do tuition assistance.
Well, Matt, I wasn't a smart kid.
I know.
What do you want from me?
You're a very smart guy. I'm not saying anything like that.
No, I'm the same
You're
guy.
a freaking chemical engineer, bro.
Same guy who applied to the to UC Santa Barbara, got accepted, and did not send my intent to register because I decided, meh, doesn't matter. When another friend said, "Are you sure? Maybe you should just send the intent to register." Like,
was it Cameron?
Yeah. Your family could afford the fee for the intent to register. Maybe you want to go like in a few months. And I was like, nah. In a few months, I was like, I want to go. And well, I didn't send the intent to register, so I couldn't go. Reapply, Ryan. Reapplied. They rejected me the next year. And that's how I ended up at the University of Arizona.
It's a Family Guy joke. Oh, you got a pulse? You're in to the U of A.
I wouldn't trade it for the world, though. That was a great experience to be there with the friends that we had there and whatnot. So
yeah, and you showed up late and you still had a good time.
I showed up late and had a great time.
I was gonna say it might be harder to ask or think of a question you'd ask your future self, but I don't know if we just want to cut it.
I don't know how I feel about this, but this is what I'm going to say. Are you happy? That's what I'd ask.
It's not a bad thing to ask. you'll know. But then if future Ryan tells you no, then your current self, Ryan, is going to be living in dread, like, why am I unhappy? And that could be the reason why you're not happy, because you told yourself you weren't going to be happy.
That's tough.
Or
You know what I mean?
or you use that as an opportunity to maybe really think about what is it that makes you happy and to pursue those things.
I I asked my mom that question, and she said she'd ask her future self if all of her kids were doing okay. And then she took it back and said, like, what if one of them's not doing good? Like, I don't want to know. Like,
That dread, you're right. To hear the answer that you fear would be very dreadful.
I think I would to try to avoid the dread answer. I think I'd ask something like, who should I keep in contact with?
is there anybody in my life I should get closer to?
Yeah, something like that. Something where it can only be positive.
What question? What's your best advice for me? That's my one question for my future self.
Ooh, that's a good one.
What the fuck should I be doing?
Or what should I invest in?
Back to money.
Yeah, you could do it. You could ask.
I know it could.
You could. That's a perfectly reasonable thing.
I know.
Where should I be investing my time?
Yeah. What's your biggest regret, future me?
I don't want to hear it.
Why not? It's future you. So now you have time to change that.
Because then you live with it presently. And I don't want to live with that until
But, what if it's like breaking up with Maria in my 50s or something? You're going to be like, okay, I know when I'm 50, don't break up with Maria. Like,
if that like changes the course of things and doesn't like balance out where I get screwed over in the back end somewhere else, then sure.
yeah, we're going to assume no genie rules, There's no, it's not going to immediately lead to malice or bad outcomes.
Me asking for good doesn't like give me bad.
Yeah, it's not like he's not magical, right? He can only tell you what he knows.
I could also do the lottery. Like, what are the lottery numbers for this
100%,
date?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then future you would need to know or be like, hold on, let me ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, let me Google the 2020 or the 2030 lotto numbers for you.
Or like, what are all the places I need to avoid that are like stricken with war or natural disasters so I don't get caught there?
I mean, maybe if you make it broad enough, like, what do you think I should be doing right now is good enough. Like, if future you says, like, move out of California and start a farm in Wyoming, I'd be like, damn, I guess that's what I'm doing. Like,
Would that be like Noah's Ark? Kind of like just be like, yo, you should go set up for this flood coming real quick.
If future self told you, Brian, you need to break up with Tiffany, move to Philadelphia, and start a new life, you'd have to be like, oh, but why? And then he dissipates into the nothing.
I would definitely be thinking, he's trolling me, right? The guy's trolling. He's trolling for sure.
Did I become an asshole in the future?
Because I was kind of an asshole in the past, so I'm pretty sure that I could still be an a-hole in the future.
Did I go full circle?
Just giving my own karma to myself.
That's all. I guess that's all I got for you guys today.
Do we got a joke to end it?
Oh, of course. I got tons of jokes. What do a 14-year-old girl and her fetus have in common? Both are thinking, man, my mom's gonna kill me. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Pod Dogs out, baby. Love ya.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. That helps us help you with more content.